Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Racers Driving League for Season 18, Round 21 of the Championship. Welcome to the Las Vegas Grand Prix for our third visit to the entertainment capital of the world, the Las Vegas Strip Circuit. It's been an absolutely fantastic evening of racing. I'm your host, Zach RC, bringing you once again through all the action of what should be a fantastic and very enjoyable evening for all. The first two cars head onto the circuit for qualifying. So 4 more rounds to go, then we are nearing F1 25, ladies and gentlemen. So just 4 races left of this season. So Vegas this week, Qatar next week, Abu Dhabi the week after that, and of course the day before early access for F1 25 begins, it will be Brazil, confirmed now as the reverse grid finale for season number 18, and what should be a last 6th or so of the season will be very enjoyable indeed. So qualifying on the way, the 2 cars on the racetrack, Red Jay in the Mercedes and Matthew in the Haas. In terms then of the Drivers' Championship, of course, those of you who missed it last week, Salvo Grumio is officially confirmed as the RDL Season 18 Drivers' World Champion, currently sitting 126 points clear of Che, just enough. He needed 104 points at the end of last week's race. He had 126. Che, not with us this week. He's been replaced in the reserve role by HB Cook in the Ferrari. Landlord is joining us late for qualifying, so he'll be here later on. And in terms of the Aston Martin team, Ericsson is stepping in place of EJ. So Aston Martin's charge of the order, perhaps hampered a bit by a lack of driver tonight. But of course, it was, to my memory, it was Aston Martin who won the first Grand Prix here with Mr. TJ, I think at the time was. I could be wrong on that. But of course, Grumio, the defending winner of this Grand Prix, and won it last season in Season 17. But here comes Matthew, though. We'll come through and we'll see how it gets on in this first lap here. So 17 corners, the Las Vegas Strip Circuit, and through turn 17 now to begin that first lap. Short runs the left-hander of turn 1. Turn 1, technically, there's very tight left-hander here, and then halfway through, turn 2 begins. Into turn 3, long sweeping right-hander. They will keep on the front left as best you can. DRS on corner exit on the run down towards turn number 5. Of course, again, another corner sort of split into 2 parts, turns 3 and 4, that last right-hander. Into turn 5, that barrier is waiting for you on corner exit. Very costly if you get it wrong, and making his way up through the gears again for turn number 6. A sweeping left-hander was leading into the much tighter left of turn 7, past the Las Vegas Sphere, through turn 8, and validating his first lap. Might still continue on for us, making his way through turn 9 now, and into a slightly faster end to the second sector. Midway through the lap then. Heading into turn 11 now, 12. And this gets interesting. Telemetry gets turned on now, and we'll see what sort of speed Matthew builds up here. Using no ERS as of right now. No DRS deployed either. Making his way down towards turn number 14 on the circuit. There is the DRS being deployed. Rear-wing for some reason not opening on my screen, but it is open. The DRS is on, I can imagine. But not getting as much speed, only 195 miles an hour though. These cars can go a lot faster than that on the run down towards this left-hander. Into the chicane, the last corner, Matthew Pat's backing off to go for a second lap here. So keep an eye in front for Red Jay, who may have got a bad lap for Red Jay. He's coming towards the line to complete his first effort. It's a 1:32.6 to start things off. And the next car coming through in terms of car sector time will be one of the Ferraris, I believe. That'll be Dan. Apologies, that will be not JB, but it will be, I think, one of the Williams cars. Not entirely sure. Actually, it will be JB. JB, the next car coming through for a flying lap here. 26.2 in the first sector. Sliding there through turn 12. We'll avoid doing that too much. And DRS will be in play this time around. Now, JB's on it for a lap, so we'll see in terms of what sort of speed he reaches. Well, Matthew with no ERS clocked out 195 miles an hour on the run down towards the braking zone. JB might get a tow here of his teammate on the run towards the left-hander. Down towards the braking zone here, 213, 214, 214, maxing out on the run towards the corner. Missing his apex slightly there to take avoiding action through the apex. Yellow flag behind them as Curtis backs off. Got yet to set a flying lap. JB up towards the line, could set a faster time than Red Jay here. It's a 1:32.1 from JB, so improved by half a second. Work to be done though. Damn faster though, 1:30.990, and that's more on the space to be expecting. And the driver who won our last race in America just 2 weeks ago Dan, fastest as of right now. Obsessed Gamer now second. Keep an eye on Obsessed tonight because this is perhaps his favourite track on the circuit. And a Q3 appearance last season led to a 10th place starting spot for him. We'll see if he's got more of the same in his locker this year. Or rather this time round, we'll see what he's got. 12th place last week. Of course, didn't compete in the USA race in Texas. But of course, taken 2 point finishes prior to that race. 10th in Baku and 6th in Singapore. So he needs a good qualifying run today to give himself a good shot. Ben P3, 10th is now 4th. JB 5th. Ericsson is first time through 6th. The Red J now 7th in the order. Next car up towards the line will be the Ferrari of HB Cook, sorry. Of course, this will make RB's job in the Constructors' Championship a lot easier. Of course, they can potentially clinch the title tonight. HB Cook towards the line, and we'll see what sort of lap he puts in. 1:31.6. It's enough for third place. So 1-3 for the Ferrari side. But only Dan scoring points. That'll make things a lot tougher for the cars around, in terms of just Ferrari. So obviously 44 points for a 1-2 plus fastest lap. Times that by 3, that's 132 points in the standings. In terms of the lead that RB hold as of right now, they currently sit 98 points in front. So we'll be looking at needing the 1-2, I think, and Ferrari then failing to score in order for them to try and nick the Constructors' title today. But likely we'll be looking to next week when, obviously from there, they only need 88 points to secure the title, which they have as of right now. So we'll keep an eye on that throughout the evening. In terms of right now, though, we've still got a qualifying session to run, and Matthew is on his second flying lap here. In the order there, 1:31.3 on the board. That's P2 for him. Imri was dealing potentially with some connection issues prior to the start, so let's keep an eye on him and see how he fares over the course of the evening. Of course, returning after the week out from the race ban in Mexico, of course, accrued 12 penalty points out of Obsessed a few weeks ago. But Imri back in the running order and looking to try and maintain third place in the Constructors' Championship over Williams. Of course, that gap was halved last race. And Williams will look to do more of the same in this race. Both Cott and Webbsy in the running, as is the same case for Imri and Matthew, as it's the Sauber of PJ Callery goes through. Of course, PJ now just 2 weeks removed from that second place finish at Kota, and looking to put himself back on the podium. We've had 2 races here in Vegas. One of them was crazy on F1 23, and one of them on F1 24 was a lot more chaotic. And I'm hoping we're going to get more of the form than the latter this time round. And only the 3rd edition of this race, so obviously it's been a little while. This race wasn't run twice on F1 23, thanks to F1 24's release date being a bit sooner than anticipated. But so we can still run all 24 races of this season in time for F1 25's release. Peter going through to start his first lap here. 11 cars set lap times on the board here. Matthew now in second after setting that extra effort. 1:31.266, actually up on his teammate, but Hascar's looking nice and fast to kick things off. Of course, Haas, for all their strength this season, both with Imri, the combination of both Imri and Pope, and then Imri and Matthew behind the wheel, still that team yet to secure a race victory. Only 2 teams have actually managed to secure victories so far this year. Those teams being RB and Ferrari. We've only had 4 race winners this campaign. PJ through the second sector now. Into turn 12, the car very much under control under that firm hand. Of course, he's closing on his teammates, so we could see some more teammate slipstream here being given out. There is Ethan, like outlap, so not quite a time run just yet. And Ethan diving out of the way narrowly there, just in time. And again, about 213, 214 miles an hour on the top speed on the run towards turn 14. And unlike JB, PJ managed to hit the apex. So it won't cost him perhaps as much time. So we'll see what sort of time PJ puts in here. I'm expecting a time inside of the top 10. Over the line, 1:31.4. It's enough for 4th place on the grid. So elsewhere, number of cars, there's Grumio coming towards the line on his first lap. And only by 3/1000s, but Grumio, the new champion, or returning champion, and defending winner of this race, fastest once again. The margin a lot closer. So there's a bit of work to be done for the cars behind to try and close up Grumio's pace. Of course, in terms of the bottom 4, because those 4 will be getting knocked out, Landlord not here, so likely he'll be starting in last place of the Grand Prix. Unfortunately, the fact there's 19 cars already means that Landlord will definitely be put in the correct machine for this race. But in terms of the bottom 4 right now, those 4 have not set times yet. Neither has Cott. Whereas he's now 3rd fastest, Cott's teammate, and Cott's coming through sector 3 now. Ethan, AT, Connie Nalvar, all yet set times. Ethan is on his way up towards the line to complete his first lap. 55.8 in the second sector. Be 131.7 for him. So P10 on the board. 4 places down his teammate, and only 3 tenths down overall. So Cotton on the bottom 4, but he's coming towards the line himself on his first lap. 130.9 for Cott. Fastest time so far. AT with the top of Grumio on the run towards turn 14. And again, the combination of RB and Aston, a common sight. Those guys working together here. As Grumio pits, AT coming up towards the line. Has likely put him into the Q2 places here. Apologies. AT goes fastest. 130.6. Fantastic lap. I'm glad we caught the end of that. A brilliant lap time there from AT. And he'll top the session early then. What does that Aston Martin have up its sleeve? But again, those two working together. AT really holding Grumio there as the king in his hand as of right now. Of course, cards need to be played right at a circuit such as this one, and my attempt to make as many gambling jokes as possible begins. Imri out of turn 16 here. Looking to improve on his previous effort. I think he's on course to actually try and improve it here. Up to 130. Up towards the line to be very close. 130.989. Improving by 4 tenths. It's 1,000th in front of Dan. That's P4 for Imri then. As of right now, so 18 of our 19 cars set lap times. Only one waiting for is Cockney Goblin. JB is in the bottom 4. Ericsson's there. And Red J's there. You need a 131 at least now. 10th currently in that range. A 139.999. So only just. So bottom 4 looks to try and find some more time. And Cockney trying to find a time to start thing. Pitting then in his first run. So we'll see what else is going on the racetrack here. Comes JB. Of course, P16 right now. First car out. So needs to improve there as well to be retired. There's 3 cars retired from the session now. And there's just under 3 minutes to go. Out turn 4 and towards 5. Going to be retiring here, so 5 of the top 6 all ending their session early. AT can likely retire as well. Matthew 131.2 could probably do as well. Session P10 as of right now, 131.6 on the board. JB then midway through the second sector, halfway around here. And looking for a solid second half of the circuit. And again, a teammate is there in front of him. Curtis is lying in wait. Sets the tyres next. A minute 40 to go. If you want to set a lap time, you've got to go on the circuit now, pretty much. Jamie closing that gap down. I think we're going to see a fair bit of improvement this time. He's nailed the curve that time round. So redeeming the flaw into his last lap. And JB charging up towards the line here, looking for a lap to get into Q2. Up towards the line. No improvement. He's down by 3/10. He's got damage there. And that'll explain it. I actually noticed that. JB with damage to his end plate on the left side of the car. And now it will likely be qualifying over from him. He's backed off it, so JB is likely out. So the owner's now 4 cars behind. And Rajay invalidating here, so Rajay looks to be out as well. Courtney Goblin, midway through Sector 2 now. Turn 11 and towards 12. Checker flag nearing, getting closer and closer here. 10th retiring. Obsessed 9 P11. JB is retired, he's now out. Comes Ethan. Ethan up to 8th place. His teammate pitting. PJ in P9 right now. HP Cook towards the line. Will likely be his final lap. Waiting that checker flag to fall now. HP Cook to P12. Perhaps not safe quite yet. Checker flag is there. Both McLarens cross the line. P14 for Alvar. P15 for Ben. Red J is out of qualifying. What can Courtney Goblin do? Can't do it. Courtney stays, goes up to P18, but stays in the bottom 4. And that will do it for this first session. So AT is fastest from Cop, Grumio, Imri and Dan. That's your top 5. JB, Ericsson, Courtney and Red J all out. And of course, Lando will join these guys at the back of the grid. Just waiting on Ethan and HP Cook now to come towards the line. Ethan 4 seconds down more or less, so no chance of improving there. HP Cook also down, so once those 2 cars cross, that'll do it for qualifying 1. The McLaren's are squeaking through by, well I say squeaking through, they're about almost half a tenth in front, half a second in front, sorry. So that'll do it then for Q1 as Ethan crosses the line. Just waiting for HP Cook. We'll just keep going for Q2. So AT fastest from Matthew and then caught your top 3. Fantastic lap from Aston Martin to kick things off. And we'll see if he's got the pace for it in Q2 in just a matter of moments. So Q2, they're now about to get underway. Down to our fastest 15 cars. And from there, speed for Q3. And later on, who'll be fighting in that 12-minute dash for pole position around the streets of Vegas. So if you have just joined us and you are just missing things, as of right now, it is so we're down to 15, and it is JB, Ericsson, Red J, and Cockney Goblin, all out of qualifying, not in that order. And of course, Lando will join us on the back row of the grid. I'm struggling for connection here, not quite sure as to why. We'll keep going though, as we are. And the first cars out of the track here being led out by the Sauber of PJ. 2 Haas cars in tow. And from there it is the Alpine, I believe, of Curtis. And then one of the Ferraris, that will be HB, no, HB will be Daniel. They are now back of that train. Apologies for the brief buffering there. Hopefully things will carry on straightening out as they were. But coming through now for first laps. PJ leading. Oh, yellow flag! I think that's Matthew sent off there. Was there contact between the 2 Haas cars? Imrie has got damage. Imrie looks all okay. His battery's fine as well. So we'll continue on as we are then. Imrie then starts his first lap. I'm not quite sure what happened. The altercation between the 2 Haas cars down at turn 14. Keeping an eye on these 2 Haas cars. They're making their way through the first sector and a half. See Matthew using those curves perhaps more than Imrie is. Turn 9, keeping it under control. Yellow flagging behind us, HB Cook in the Ferrari. All clear though, no issues there. 2 Saubers working together once again. Ethan on his out lap with PJ a tow. Of course, PJ has been masterful in qualifying. Of course, especially I'd argue that's perhaps one of his fortes in the RDL. So struggle to convert it slightly. So PJ fastest then, 130.9 on the board. Curtis in second, 132.1. So a lot of work to be done. And Imrie now back on top of the board, 130.901. So only 500 faster than PJ. Matthew, I think Valdez still pitted, one of the 2. Matthew pitted, so back in there. Dan invalidated, but HB Cook went third fastest, 131.559, sort of bridging that gap between PJ and Curtis. Still not sure what the game plan was for Haas, truthfully, and what exactly their intention was during this session, because they were quite close together. I'd argue they may have disrupted each other's laps, at least disrupted their out-laps. But they'll carry on as they are. And we'll obviously carry on as we are. Yellow flag there as PJ might be waiting for Ethan perchance. Keep an eye. He was careful not to hold up Curtis too much. Doesn't want to impede Curtis's lap in the Alpine. As those two go wheel to wheel, pulling alongside. Curtis backing off, I think. And Ethan had a fantastic run off of PJ on the run down towards the left-hander. Made that work. And now coming up towards the line once again. 131.5. So half second off of his teammate, but Sauber doing good right now. Next car switching to the line, HB to the pit lane, will be joined by Emery. Yes, he will. From the two McLarens, Benjamin's lap time. Here comes Alvar up to complete his. 55.4 in Sector 2. In Sector 3, it's a 131.9. Sorry, 131.197. And from there, it will be... Oh! And spinning out. Goes Alvar at the end of his second run. Start with second lap, rather. That's what I'm looking for. But Alvar then put himself in a good spot, looking for a Q3 appearance. Cock goes third fastest, of course, was briefly fastest in Q1 before being topped by AT. Speaking of AT, he's there on the circuit right behind, who, would you guess it, Grumio. Flag in Sector 1, no concern for us there, but AT continues on. And could we see the Aston Martin driver try and top a second session in a row? Into turn 11, so turn 14, sorry, I'm losing my corner numbers here. AT though with a good run from Grumio on the run towards the line. A very good end to the lap. This could be a 129 potentially. 131, 131.062. Grumio 131.350. So the slower car in that little train is the one that goes quicker with the help of that toe off of the champion. So Grumio then through turns 3 and 4. And will we see him go again potentially? He's done 2 laps on those soft tyres, so I doubt it for now. So 11 cars to lap times, then waiting on Obsessed, Websy, Matthew and Dan. But to the latter half of those 4 rather, have been on the circuit already, setting lap times, both invalidated though. I think Matthew pitted. But Matthew coming through here, no issues this time around. A clean racetrack, or empty racetrack around him. DRS deployed once more as he makes his way towards turn 14. We'll see how he caps things off. Over the curbs there, lucky to keep it within track limits. And Matthew off of turn 16. Charging up towards the line as he got the speed to get himself into the Q3 places. Once again, P14 as of right now. It'll be P7 for Matthew. Of course, Imri, his teammate, still fastest in this session so far. Still time to be found then for the Hascard, and still time to actually find it. So Obsessed and Webster, the 2 cars are waiting on it. Webster is out lap, but Obsessed is going through Sector 3 now. What will Obsessed do? In through turn 16 again. Green flag now back out. And running down towards the last corner once again. Obsessed looking for a spot here in Q3. 131.4 puts him into P9. Things a lot closer now than they were in Q1 by a long way here. So 14 cars at lap times now. Webster going through towards turn 5 now to complete his first sector. Pointing up to 5.9 in sector 1. We have a lock up there on the way going through turn 7. And through turn 9. Landlord now joining us, so obviously Landlord will start at the back of the field for this race. And we'll see him trying to come through the order. Let's see where Webster max out at 200 miles an hour for the DRS zone. Getting down towards turn 14. So last few corners working now. The last car set time in Q2 up towards the line. Where will this lap put him? 131.2. So off the P6, so good stuff for the Williams cars right now. Obsessed, currently the last car safe going into Q3. So the cars below him in terms of the top 10, Grumio 7th, Dan 8th, Matthew 9th, and Obsessed in 10th. Ethan 11th, and it's HB Cook in P12. There's PJ Caleb. Let the two cars go. I'd argue he's plenty safe in Q3 as of right now, but granted, that's only 4 tenths up on the exact time that's going through. Sorry, I thought that's only half a second up on the time that's going out. The last car setting going through to Q3. And we still might see improvements. There's Ethan coming through. And the teammates working together has been fantastic so far over the course of this evening's race, this evening's qualifying session. Imri retires, likely safe in Q3 now. AT up to P4. Sorry, was that AT? Matthew P10. Oh, sorry, apologies. Ethan went third. As Scott goes fastest, 130.622. Up towards the line to complete his next lap. Just over 2 minutes to go. Obsessed now in the bottom 5. Behind him it's HB Cook, then Curtis, then Ben, and then 10th Cannon. Of course, 10th fullback to 6th place in last week's race. Of course, the 5th of our 6 100% Grand Prix. So caught fastest then, minute and a half to go. One of the McLarens going through, that's Ben currently in the bottom 5. He's got time for one more lap. As does HB Cook in behind. Keep an eye on Ben as he makes his way through turns 3 and 4. Nearing the end of his first sector now. We'll see what sort of time puts in. We're 26.090, so up by 3 tenths. He needs about 8 tenths or so to get himself into the top 10. Try and join his teammate Alvarez in 6th place, also in that lap. Slightly further in front, the next car in front of Ben right now. HB Cook, in terms of his lap time, also looking for a solid effort himself to get himself into that top 10. Of course, he's been fantastic as a reserve so far this season. And Alvarez line up, ready to give his teammate a hand. PJ retiring. Okay, both Salvas most likely going through to Q3. Ethan a bit more risk for saying that. Alvar backing out and letting Ben go on his way. And allowing HB Cook through as well. Keeping an eye on these 2 cars up towards the line. Ben most definitely improving. Second flag. 131.4 for Ben O'Neill for P13. HB Cook gets himself into the top 10. Grumio's out right now. Obsessed is in P5. Push himself up the order. Cott still fastest. Dan second. Imrie third. PJ fourth. Matthew there. Goes past into P7. HB Cook goes out. Next car towards the line will be the RB of Grumio, who's currently 3 tenths up. Only needs one of those tenths to get into the top 10. And what does the champion have in store? Into the braking zone. Let's ride a ball with the rest of the lap. Only 3 cars to come to the line. Curtis coming through, Grumio coming through, and 10th Cannon coming through as well. Those are the next 3 cars. Grumio 130.7. That's not enough for fastest time. Curtis's P10 and knock Alvar out. Both McLarens no longer going through, and can 10th Cannon nab something later on. He needs a 131.1 at worst. Up the line and be a 131.134, and by 7 thousandths, 10th gets into Q3. Curtis knocked out. By the skin of her teeth, 10th Cannon gets herself into Q3. Fantastic lap there. So she'll be joining AT, Matthew, Ethan, Obsessed, PJ, Imrie, Dan, Grumio, and Cott. Cott, of course, pole sitter here last season. Had a very big struggle on the start, and Grumio took the lead away. So there's your order. Cott fastest from Grumio and Daniel top 3. Curtis by 7 thousandths going out. He's joined by Alvar, Websy, HB Cook, and Ben in the bottom 5. Here we go then, time for Q3 and time to find out who is the ace in the pack and who will take pole position. 10 cars left. In terms of cars, teams get both their cars into Q3. We're looking at Haas and Sauber. In terms of everyone else, only got 1 car in. Cott for Williams. Obsessed, Ethan, both Saubers are in, sorry. Aston Martin with AT. Obviously RB with Grumio. Ferrari with Dan. 10th Cannon with Red Bull, and that's more or less it. And PJ, the lone car on the racetrack, going out very early on compared to everyone else. I was having a hard time starting this session. And so there go the 2 Haas cars onto the circuit. Imrie first and Matthew second. But quite a gap to PJ there. Comes the RB of Grumio out the pit lane. Followed by the Mercedes of Obsessed. Of course, Obsessed P10 here in qualifying last season. Looking to improve on that. So we'll see what he's got in the bag. So keep an eye on PJ. He's the first car to come through in Q3, and looking to see what sort of lap he's got in store. So it's rumble with PJ through the first sector here. So up towards turn 17's complete. So sorry, to start the first lap of Q3. Short run going down towards that first corner into turn 1, the left-hander. Trying to avoid using that curb too much through turn 2 and into turn 3. Through turn 4. Down towards 5. Of course, his first sector ends at the conclusion of the 5th corner. Into the right-hander now. Avoiding damage on corner exit, 25.951 on the board. Through turn 7 and 8. It's turn 9. Very well executed there. Into turn 10 and through 11. Into breaking down turn 12 when I'm trying to avoid getting that curb too much. DRS in play here into the last sector on the circuit. Another toe then being played off of Ethan. So Sauber working this team game spectacularly here. Of course, there have been races where perhaps it hasn't been as effective, as potent. Another race where it is. And this is one of those races. PJ towards the line to complete the first lap of the session. It'll be a 1:31.1. What can the two Haas cars behind make of that? Imrie out of turn 16, coming up towards the line. Completing his run. It will be a 1:30.7, so Imrie fastest on provisional pole as of right now. Matthew across the line, 1:31.1. So the Haas car perhaps the team to beat here is PJ second fastest and Grimmier now fastest by 7 tenths, 1:30.290. Game into P3 then. 1:30.966. In terms of the cars, it's at lap times. The next one through will be Ethan. Again, the team play at Sauber. Remarkably executed here. Ethan comes through. His teammates at a 1:31.1. What can Ethan do on the run towards the line to complete his first lap of the session? It's under 7 minutes to go now in Q3. Ethan towards the line. 1:31.834. It's enough for P6 on the grid. Down the next car through on a time lap to come towards the line. Likely to see both Haas cars pit here. Yellow flag, success slows in turn 14. And down up to the line. Dan second fastest, bridging the gap. 1:30.642 Dan's time. So 76 minutes to go. Tenth starting on the next lap. AT again fastest, 1:30.2. And this time Grimmier nowhere in sight. What is the deal over at Aston Martin? Oh, Cox got a spin there. Out of turn 9. Let's see who recovers it and gets himself moving again. Doesn't see any damage done to that Williams. So we'll continue on as is for now. So down once again towards turn 14. There's the detection line for DRS. And there's the DRS line. Going down towards 14, looking for a strong continuation of that. Whether he'll pit, I'm not too sure, truthfully. We may see him stop. He's coming in. Tim Cannon again, the last car set lap time in this session. And here he comes up. Here she comes up towards the line. 132.4. Only P10 for 10th right now. She's got some work to do. So it's under 4 minutes to go now. Majority of cars in the pits. Only PJ and 10th still on laps. PJ's just come out there, but 10th is likely coming in for one last set of tyres, and from there she can go for a full scale run in this on the last lap. Oh, and a slide there may have put to pay 10th efforts in this session. Should we carry on? Three more cars coming out here. Ethan was on that lap. Greenman was that lap. .8 in the first set, up by half a tenth for PJ here. Things could be tough with that toe behind him. Steps back on the racetrack. P6 from right now. 130.9 on the board. What can he do from there? Towards the line, so that will likely be his last lap of the session. Not much longer to go. Ferrari down up the pit lane. For a second I thought I saw a stop the Ferrari on the map, but nothing of the sort. Dan just slow in the pit lane. A minute and a half left. Those drivers setting lap times need to be doing it now. 10th is coming on the racetrack. I think she might have missed her slot personally by like 7 or 8 seconds. So we come down now to what everyone can do in these last laps. So 2 house cars, one behind the other. Same sort of plan they're adding in Q2. This time keeping a distance. And likely we'll see him close back in together when we get the toe. So Imrie starts his last lap. 130.759 is best time. 130.264 from AT to beat. And Grumio this time getting a run off of AT on the run towards the left-hander. And I'm thinking we're going to see a lot of improvement here from Grumio. Could we see a car in the 129s? Good toe off of Cott as well. Cott closing in on the start of his last lap. Grumio towards the line to be 129 here. 129.931 from Grumio. And I'm doubting that time can be topped. Last lap for AT. Looking at a front row start right now. Unless Cott can stop him on his last lap. Imrie P4. Checking flag is waiting down. Apologies, that's not Imrie, that is Daniel Aaron. Imrie himself is right now 3/10 up. Needs more than that though. He needs about 6 or 7. I think he'd rather be the guy behind that train right now, being carried along by his teammate. Into turns 14, 15, 16 for the last time. Waiting for that checker flag to come through. Imrie on the charge towards the line. P5 as of right now. Can he improve that at all? Towards the line. It's 3rd place for Imrie. And 5th for Matthew. So he's qualifying for Haas as of right now. Caught up a quarter of a second in sector 2. One of the Sabres coming through. That's Ethan coming through now. Looking for a time, some higher than P9. He's at the exact same time as his teammate. Who will be faster? Ethan pitting here. So the ball now in PJ's court. Caught P5, ATP 6. Remove P7. Caught 4th fastest, improved by a 10th. AT can't improve. Grumio can't improve. Ethan pits, and that'll more or less do it for the session then. So Grumio on pole, and surprisingly he'll lead 18 to turn 1. Imrie 3rd, then Cotton 4th, Dan runs it on top 5. Matthew 6th, Obsessed in 7th, good qualifying for Obsessed. Ethan 8th, 10th Cannon 9th, and 10th Cannon in 10th. So that was the end of a fantastic qualifying session, and the race is minutes away from starting. So leaving the picture of the top 10 here before we head to our intermission, and from there we're back on the start. So here we go then, a very exciting racing prospect here in Vegas. Of course, here in Sin City, entertainment capital of the world. Those guys just joined us in the qualifying session. It's Grumio on pole, leading surprisingly AT on the run to the first corner. The resurgence of Aston Martin continues on, but no EJ alongside AT this week. And there's the circuit for you. 17 corners. Of course, only the 3rd season that we ran this track in the RDL, and the 2nd appearance made in an F1 game. Grumio, the defending winner in the Haas, this time in the RB. Can he go back-to-back? In terms of victories, a week removed from winning the World Championship. He is currently sitting there, 4 wins from 5 Grand Prix. The only driver to have stopped him so far on this run is Dan. But Grumio, of course, dominated this race last year, had a fantastic start, and as a result, run away from DRS range, and that was more or less without challenge for 25 laps, but obviously plenty of passing, I think, to be made here tonight. And we'll see exactly who's got the speed to lead, who's got the ace in the pack, and who will claim victory in Vegas. There is a scenario as of right now in which RB win the Constructors' Championship tonight. With 3 races left to go, those guys, as it stands, needing a 132-point lead. As of right now, they've got a 98-point advantage. So they need to outscore Ferrari by 34 points. So a 1-2 would be enough, but if Lando starting dead last, it could be a tough encounter for Ferrari with Che out of the running in today's race, not racing today. HB Cook in his place, and only Dan eligible to score points for that team. It's going to be a big ask to try and keep that Constructors alive should Landlord contend towards the end. But here we go then, the formation not getting underway now, and it's time to take you through your starting lineup for the RDL Season 18 Las Vegas Grand Prix, and your starting tyres as well. So dead last back of the grid, it's Landlord and P20, starting on a set of medium tyres, 19 cars on mediums in tonight's race. Reg lines up P19, looking to score his first points of the season here. He's got 4 chances left to do it, the first one being tonight. He starts on the mediums too. On row 9, it's Courtney Godwin, the lone hard tyre starter in the Red Bull, going likely longer on the hards and shorter on the mediums, perhaps even set a soft at the end. Ericsson P17 for Aston Martin, reserving in place of EJ. JB P16, another tough Q1 exit for him, looking to redeem himself in the Grand Prix. He's got a spin already there. That's 10 Cannon, who's gone around this early on the formation lap. Ben lines up P15 on the medium tyres in the McLaren, because both McLarens got knocked out towards the end of Q2. HB Cook reserving for Che and P14. Again, can't score points for Ferrari, but going to try and score from Pride himself for next, trying to get himself a seat for next season. Websy P13. Alvar in P12, Curtis in P11, and 10th Cannon was P10, the qualifying order, but obviously will take her place back, but spinning on the formation laps, not a fantastic look for her. Ethan P9, and it's PJ and P8, the two Saubers, looking to try and get back in front of Red Bull. There's 3 points, that gap between those two for 5th place in the constructor standings, with Alpine a further 6 points behind them. P7 is Obsessed Game, we're perhaps looking for another points paying finish. He's got 10 points this season, as Mercedes only 10 points in the campaign, so let's try to hunt down McLaren for P9 in the standings. Matthew lines up P6, still hunting his first RDL podium move of his career. It's Dan in P5, Cott in 4th place. 3rd place for Imrie, again hunting his first victory of the season and the first win of F1 24. Pace has been there for him all campaign long, but hasn't been able to close it out. AT lines up P2, first front row start for an Aston all season long, and Grumio, fresh off the world title in Mexico last week, now the 9-time world champion of the series, takes his place on pole position and looking for another victory this season. Lady Luck will have her eye on this race. The only question is, to who will she give the frown, and for who will she flash the sweetest possible smile as the cars make their way towards the grid. 10th Cannon lining up in her place towards the middle of the order here. Grid spot reserved for on the left there. Landlord in his grid box, and everyone is more or less set. 25 laps here in the entertainment capital of the world. Round 21 of the championship. It's the Las Vegas Grand Prix. 5 laps on ahead of the drivers. It's lights out, foot to the floor. Go, go, go. Great getaway from one of the McLarens there in the back. But Grumio leads away off the start, going towards turn 1. No challenge into turn 1. Imrie and Cott side by side for 3rd place, going through turns 1 and 2. Cott on the outside takes P3 for Imrie's coming back at him on the inside. Everyone keeps it nice and clean here on the run up towards turn 3. Landor getting 3 places already here in the opening encounter, and going down towards turn 5 for the first time. It's Grumio from AT, Imrie, Cott and Daniel, top 5. Side by side, Obsessed and Matthew. Obsessed makes the pass. P6 for the Mercedes driver on the run up towards turn number 6 now. And behind him, Matthew, then PJ, Curtis and Ethan, your top 10. Side by side, 10th Cannon making the pass, holding off Ben, going into turn number 7 now. 2 places down for 10th early on in this session, or in this race rather. And it's single file all the way back. Landlord P17 making the move now. HB Cook, they try and go to the outside, going towards turn 10. Around the outside, sweeping past the Ferrari and taking P16 for himself. No battery, no DRS, but plenty of battery to play with around on this back straight, going down towards turn 14. Imrie with a good run on 18, makes a move to the right side of the racetrack. Imrie makes that pass, goes into 2nd place, and will try and close on the lead, but there goes AT coming back at him, side by side still on the run up towards the braking zone. Someone sort of got to see here, they're side by side, dead even here. No one seems to have the edge. Going around the outside goes Imrie into turn 14, makes it work through 15 and takes P2 in turn 16. Obsessed and Matthew side by side on corner exit, making their way down towards turn 17 to complete the first lap of the race here. Side by side, Cott and AT going through the last corner and back towards turn 1. Grumio leads lap 1, top 5 breaking away here. Obsessed holding off both Matthew and contacting Matthew and PJ for 7th place on the road. There was Curtis trying to make a move in the middle of both cars, can't quite do it. Stays where he is. Ben P10, there's Ethan P11. And truthfully, 9 constructors right now, all in the points paying places. PJ now passing Matthew for 9th place. I'm going 7th place, apologies, into the right hand. Matthew going back at him though, makes that move stick. DRS in play already here, and Lowell into P14 for the back. Curtis looking to the outside. They're going into turn 7. Can't quite do it as of yet. We'll keep an eye on him on the run out of turn 12 and towards 13. Again, that top 5 breakaways there. Matthew slides out of turn number 9 there. There goes PJ taking full advantage. There goes scything through on the inside towards turn 10. Takes the place away. Fantastic stuff then from the Sauber to give himself another place in the order. Of course, on a day where Sauber can try and close that lead to Red Bull. It's 3 points separating those two teams in the Constructors' World Championship. Oh, contact in the back. There goes Websy on the circuit. Websy's crashed the car. Crash with Alvar there. Alvar's away, but Websy's out and a VSC deployed. So the first major DRS zone then on the circuit. And there it is. VSC early on and Websy already out. Frustrating start for Williams on a day looking to try and close that lead. It's currently 16 points between Haas and Williams going into this race, and that gap will go up a bit more now with both Haas cars in at the top 10 and Cotton's in 3rd place by himself now. No green flag just yet onto lap 3 of this race, and there it is, DRS back in play. Back to racing once again here, and Cott right on Imri's tail going down towards turn 5. Green flag goes back out outright here. And work begins for Imri to chase down Grumio. We'll keep an eye on Battery as well to make these guys make the mistake through turn 6. Once again, Alva making a change to his wing there. Serving a penalty, I think, before he has made that change. So Alva now a long way back and could have used that being a full safety car, truthfully. Everyone keeping it to themselves as of right now. Matthew perhaps a bit under pressure from Curtis going through turn 10. These two running nose to tail as obviously Matthew looks to try and close on PJ in the Sauber. Goes Curtis to the outside for the braking zone. Thinks better if it stays in line. Matthew better drive off. DRS will be in play for Imri this time round. 6 tenths separating those two race leaders. DRS going a bit later on the circuit than it used to be. And a good run from Cott behind. Cott's got... Has he got end plate damage there? I thought I saw something. But he's closing him regardless. Won't go for it though. Sorry, apologies, no damage for Cott. He's all good as he is. Grumio now 8 tenths in front. Imri having to defend, allowing the Haas to pull away. Sorry, allowing the RB to pull away. He goes Cott to the inside looking for P2 here on corner exit. And jumping in front. Grumio fastest lap, 133.9. Obsessed Gamer, fastest lap, 133. I'm losing times here. Ben's at the fastest lap. Landon's got it now. So bonus point going Landon's way. Of course, only 4 more rounds left before that fastest lap bonus point gets eradicated for next season, as with the terms of F1's regulations for 2025. 18 now on Imri's tail. And we got up to Cott now to try and keep Grumio honest. We've said it before, when Grumio breaks DRS, he's gone. Think back to Monza, also obviously similar circuit in terms of the fact there's a lot of there's DRS zones where straight line speed is obviously a huge factor. And Grumio, over those 53 laps, pulled up quite a margin over the 3 cars chasing him down for 2nd place. 2 of those cars were in this training this one, Imri. There goes Cott then closing the gap to Grumio, looking for a race lead. Imri has got 80 getting F1 in here. Dan not too far behind either. 80 making that pass, clearing him, passing him before he even reached DRS. Cott's closing, but not using his battery just yet, keeping it in line. Perhaps waiting for a move on corner exit, as he did on Imri last time round. The curbs there, keeping it nice and controlled. And Grumio is already in minus fuel as it stands. Perhaps looking to save some at some point in the Grand Prix. On to lap 5 now. So where does Cott think to make that lunge then? Of course, there's a number of places to do it on the circuit, but in terms of where to go, I'm not entirely sure. But you see him right on the tail of the RB. Can't quite do it. Closing the gap though. And Grumio might force him the long way round. But Cott stays in line for now as there goes Dan looking for a P4 of Imri. 80 back in 3rd place, also 2nd out of DRS ranges, so holding Imri up right now. And it's imperative, I think, for Imri's race in terms of the racing the two leaders that he gets back around the Ferrari. Sorry, around the Aston Martin. The Ferrari's not chasing him down. Obsessed is keeping with these guys. He's in P6 right now. He's openly stated in the past this is one of if not his favourite track. So looking to try and get a good point finish for the team here. His teammate at the back of the train here struggling as of right now. Ericsson only car behind him in terms of the lead pack, and of course Alvar almost 40 seconds back from Ericsson on the hard tyre. And now Cott making his move, going to the inside of Grumio on the run towards turn 14 again, out of turn 13. And before DRS comes into play, he's a whole car in front of Grumio and pulling away here. Cott leads for the first time tonight on lap 5. Imri still under pressure here, can't quite get back around AT for now. His teammate Matthew under pressure from Curtis. Landlord in P9 now. So Landlord making early moves as Grumio can take the lead back from Cott on the inside there. But does Cott try and come back at him for turn 1? Can't do it. AT right behind these guys. Looking for Aston Martin's 3rd podium of the season. It's been a remarkable resurgence for that team. Of course, with EJ not the fix today, a podium would do wonders for them. DRS train here being built. Dan closing on Imri. Can't do it for now. Stays in line. Everyone keeping it as they are. Oh, there goes PJ to the outside of Ben, looking for the points back. PJ on the outside into P10. You can see 10th being challenged by Ethan in the Sauber. Behind those guys, there's JB further back. Red J now around Courtney Goblin. Ericsson then Alvar. PJ with a penalty there. Obviously, everyone on the same strategy right now. It's all comes down to who's best on their tyres, who's sort of light-footed. Dan passing Imri here. So P4 goes back to the Ferrari. Cott closing the gap and making moves on Grumio for the lead here. We'll take it back. And we'll see what Grumio tries to employ here going through the end of the lap and see where he tries to go from moves. Because we've probably take back the lead quite fast. So whether Cott's made a mistake, not too sure. Dan Imri still squabbling there. AT keeping with the two leaders right now, but he's in DRS range, so he's falling away a little bit. Dan takes P4 back. Imri P5, Obsessed P6. Landor does work his way through the field quite spectacularly here, and he now sits on the cusp of the top 5. Curtis in 8th place and Matthew 9th, and Ben 3 seconds back from those guys, holding off a gaggle of cars here, including 10th, both Salbos and HB Cook. The last points taking place. PJ, the only car in between those with the penalty. 10th closing in. Can't quite do it for now. Oh, tapped to the wall there for Ben. Past the sphere once again. Matthew with Curtis with no DRS as of right now, over a second back from the 7th place car Landlord, who himself is closing on Obsessed. And AT now with the two leaders a bit more here. Cott sliding off the corner. Grumio may look for the race lead back this time round. Grumio's set up a straight line speed there and the run towards turn 14 again. It goes to the Rand side of the racetrack. He's made his bed now, but will likely clear the Williams. There he goes, Grumio back in front. AT staying in DRS range, but not doing enough right now to reel those two cars in as Matthew makes the pass on Curtis. And Landor passing Obsessed here, going into the left-hander. Imri challenging Dan here to the inside. And we're back. Okay, well that was extremely odd, but we are now back to racing here. Apologies for that. I have no clue what happened. I think my entire PC just went down, so that was enjoyable. But we'll rejoin here on lap 14, and we rejoin with Cott in the race lead, followed by Grumio. Obsessed now into 3rd place. In terms of stops, we've missed the stops. The stops more or less over here, and everyone except Courtney Goblin has changed their tyres. Courtney onto a set of hards. We're still on a set of hards from the start. But we are back to racing here, and hopefully we'll have no dramas through the end of the Grand Prix. So Obsessed then, currently sitting in 3rd place right now. AT still 5th. But Obsessed with the penalty there, and that could cost him in terms of the race perhaps for a podium finish. in this Grand Prix. But Cott now 2.2 in front. Reminder, Cott hasn't won a race all season. It's been a season and a half almost since he last took victory. It was at Austria in season 16 on F1 23 since he last won. He's in a good spot right now, 2 seconds in front of Grumio. Obsessed in third place there, still in DRS range over the car in front of him. Of course, only the one retiree from this race. It's Websy, the one car out from that crash on lap 2. Down in P4. Emery down to P6 here. Landon's charge seems to have stalled a bit. He's down in P7. That's Curtis and Matthew going at it for P8 and 10th. Holding off Courtney Goblins, of course, yet to make that stop. And there goes Matthew to the inside, looking for a move here on Curtis, going into the corner. Might try and dive on Landlord too. Risky move from Matthew, going in over the curb there and losing out both places, so perhaps not worth it from Matthew. Stays in P9, doesn't lose anything out in terms of positional damage, but obviously a close call there. In terms of Obsessed races right now, he's currently sitting about 3 seconds in front of AT, so good for P4 as of right now, but that'll cost him. Courtney Goblin pitting here, 10-second penalty for speeding in the pits. Red Bull making that change onto a set of medium tyres. Expect some more pace from Courtney towards the end of the Grand Prix here. For those of you just joining, apologies, my PC just crashed completely mid-race, so I had to go back in, reset, and go again. Luckily, didn't miss too much. Cotter obviously now in the lead, or back then, holding position on the hard tyres now, but obviously the pit window has changed in terms of strategy when everyone came in. So Grumio's only been on his tyres for 2 laps now, and he is pushing, but 2 seconds back from the race leader. And without DRS, it's a tough track to try and get past the cars. Grumio now getting it down to within 2 seconds rather. Dan making the pass to Obsessed. So we get a more direct look in terms of Obsessed to AT. So still holding on to P4 right now, but only by a few tenths or so we can't afford too many mistakes. But still, fantastic points for Mercedes in this race, given that both McLarens are out of the points. And that will put them just 14 points back from the Papaya machines in the race for 9th place in the Constructors. As Matthew making that pass down Curtis, bit of contact there. Matthew with a penalty. Couldn't find a way around Curtis, and 10th Cannon right behind both cars here. So he allowed to pull away a bit and is working on chasing down Imrie for P6. Inside the final 10 laps now, this Las Vegas Grand Prix, and all to play for. Further back in the field, outside of the points, Hasteby the first car out in P11. It's Ethan P12 closing him down. Ben the first, McLaren P13. JB up from P16, qualifying to P14 now with that damaged wing though. Lost an end plate since we last saw him. And side by side with PJ here making that move. PJ making the move P14 now, put JB down a spot. Red J in P16. Perhaps not too happy with pace right now, but we'll be pleased to see his teammate is still up there at the top of the order. AT though within 3 seconds now is close to those two. Courtney Goblin P17 next to his medium tyres. Ericsson, then Alvar. Obviously pitted, but had to close back up after the crash with Websy on the second lap while being involved in that. Bit of a slide there through turn 5, keeping the car on the wraps. Grumio getting to work here, 1.6 seconds to gap as Obsessed goes for a move back around Dan. He's going to want to hope that Dan gets himself a penalty as well to try and hold on to that podium position. Can Obsessed get a podium in this race? Time will tell. I'll tell you what, he'll be trying to avoid a safety car of any kind here. Because if that happens, then obviously he'll find himself bunched up with the whole pack and he'll lose a ton of spots. 3 cars with penalties, for 3 second penalties right now. Obsessed with 3, Matthew with 3, and PJ with 3. Courtney Goblin has 10 for speeding in the pits, so that'll get tacked on at the end of the Grand Prix most likely. I doubt we'll make another stop. Grumio within half a second now of Cott. And where did that come from? Pace is there in the RB as it has been all season long. There'll be 8 laps to go across the line next. Further back here, Landon around Imrie now. 5-car train from P6 to P10. Landlord, then Imrie, then Curtis, then Matthew, and then 10th. Oh, bit of a drop there. I thought for a second I crashed again. 80 by himself right now. In no man's land as it stands, but obviously knowing he can gain at least 1 place in this. if he can keep in range of Obsessed, who himself is working on chasing down Dan once again. And Grumio could try to make the decisive move for the lead back here, going down towards turn number 14 again. Closing all the time and making his move, but can't get close to this time. Holding his battery, perhaps waiting for a better exit out of turn 16. Caught a bit deep there. Grumio not attacking just yet. I think we may see him stuck there behind Cot for a fair few laps in, and then try and bolt on the last lap. But Cot's got his own battery as of right now. It will be the DRS that will be helping Grumio. Obsessed is still in third now, but wants to get hustled on, or hope he can try and force Dan into an error that will get him a penalty too. Not sure the case is for Dan on Mornings, as Imri makes the pass on Lando for P6 again. Gets Lando try and fight back at him on the run down towards turn 5, but can Curtis get there first? Lando's going for it on the outside, Imri forces him towards the long way round, and Lando clears him. And I thought Curtis was going to try for a second there, didn't quite do it. Matthew close to contact with Curtis, close to a tap there, and 10th, not too far behind either. Ethan challenging HB Cook here, or trying to challenge HB Cook, can't quite do it for now, so stays in line behind the Ferrari. So Grumio now 8/10ths back from Cot, and going for overtake. But down to hot lap. Waiting on that DRS. Closing the gap all the time here. Using medium charge as it stands. Obsessed passing down once more. He's still keeping it with up to 3 seconds past AT. So as it stands, still on for a 4th place finish. Which would be his best result yet in the RDL. If Dan makes a mistake or starts to fall away, falls out DRS range, then obviously Obsessed can try and then pull an advantage. It's going to be close. He's got 7 laps to try and pull 2.5 more seconds on Dan. That's with DRS ranges in play. Needs to force Dan some kind of error here. These two have been there on their tyres almost the longest day on the circuit. Minus Alvar, who's on the 15 lap hold hard. Goes down again, breezing past Obsessed. AT now no longer a factor in Obsessed race. Unless, of course, a mistake is made which can bring the Aston Martin back into play in terms of that time penalty. That'll be the crucial thing that's costing Obsessed right now. I'm sure he'll be kicking himself, or some part of himself will be kicking himself for that. But obviously a 4th place, given the season that Mercedes have had, is still a fantastic result for that team. So we'll see here what Obsessed has up its sleeve as AT gets back inside that 3-second range again. For the back of this 5-car train continues on. Imri and Lando swapping positions ahead of the train. Matthew now the 3rd car in line, followed by Curtis and 10th kind of bringing up the rear in P10. 7 seconds back to Ethan, now passing HB Cook, Ben 13th. That's JB 14th, PJ, then Red J, Connie, Ericsson and Alvar. Bottom 10 all split out a little bit there. Grumio to the inside of Cot, looking for the race lead here. Into turn 14, contact between the pair of the 2 cars. Grumio takes the lead. Was that a shove too far, perhaps? On Cot. Whatever it was, the more these two fight side by side into corners, the more it will bring Obsessed and Dan back into play. So these two can't afford to hold each other up too much here. Obsessed only 2 seconds back, and that's 2 seconds that can be easily gained by 2 cars fighting in corners. They want to keep it. Well, they want to work together to try and help each other have a chance to win the race, and then from there, duke it out. Dan passing Obsessed again. Obsessed thinks setting up for a move going down towards turn 14 each time. Imri looking around, trying to find a way around Landlord. Can't do it just yet, so stays in line. We're on lap 20 of this race. Not long to go now. Cot's back in behind Grumio here. Now, at what point does the 2nd place car want to try and just stick with the leader until the last lap? We've seen it done before. Cot's in no mood to play around. But we've seen Grumio do this all season. It's won him several races against Che in particular. Sat in there behind the race leader, waiting for that move to be made. But this time Cot tries the outside, so not just yet. And on this, Dan is closing back in too. So this could be a 3-car race for the win. Obsessed making the pass, clearing down again. And Obsessed nearly back in DRS range here. Oh. 1.2 seconds the gap now. 5 more laps to go in Vegas. It's Cotton leads from Grumio second. Making their way off the turn 4 now towards 5 again. Obsessed closing in on Dan. Those who say nose to tail right now. Dan back in control of P3, but Obsessed still on his tail, half a second back. And Grumio now 6th back from Cot. Is Grumio now content to try and stay there in second place because Dan is on his tail? So if Dan can start making moves here, that could put Grumio under pressure. Because often, a lot of times we've seen Grumio make that sort of move. He's been sort of by himself with the other car. Curtis is out. Safety car. Curtis crashes in the same place Wempty did. And all of a sudden, safety car's out with 5 laps to go. And that will be costly for Obsessed. And everyone is pitting here. Well, I'm not sure they're pitting here. Yes, everyone in for soft tyres. What on earth is going on my screen? Obsessed stays out. Did he stay out, or is that just my game being silly? He did. Imrie stays out too. Number of cars here. Late on. Soft tyres being deployed as the game tries to make sense of what's going on. So then, safety car is out. And everyone looking at soft tyres now. Except for the 2 leaders. Obsessed now leads. Imrie is in second place. It's likely Obsessed is going to end up not finishing the points now unless there's a huge breakaway for him. And we're going to have, I'd say, probably 2 laps to go to cap this race off. Who wins this race now then? Because Cot's the first car in line on those soft tyres. Grumio's on his tail. Dan now 3rd in that train. AT in 4th. Could AT try and sneak through and win this thing? You never know. It's anyone's game at this point. Things have opened up. And now is the time to place your bets and see who's got the winning hand. And I'm just going to hope that my Wi-Fi can hold out for the next 3 laps or so. As everyone closes up, we're going to get 2 laps of racing, I think, here to end this one off. Another Grand Prix under the lights ending here in a late race shootout after a safety car. But this time, everyone gets to close up. It's going to be a titanic end to this Grand Prix, I should think. The 2 leaders and hard tyres. Imrie has no penalties, so he's losing nothing here, but Obsessed is obviously going to fall a long way back in the field. It's going to be a real struggle for him to keep everyone behind him, let alone putting 3 seconds. We're just waiting now for the restart. Red J, Ericsson, Courtney Gobbler and Alvar closing up. And my game lagging again. So what's the game plan then for our two leaders in terms of what to do from now? Because, as I say, Obsessed likely is going to score points thanks to this. Imri can theoretically win this race, but it's going to need a lot of luck to keep behind 16 cars on soft tyres. It's going to be a close one. Cott will be looking to try and get to work right away. Grumio will be with him. As we ignore the fact, we ignore him running his car into the wall. And we're just waiting now for the safety car to come back in. So Curtis, unfortunately, out of the race. That'll be tough luck for Alpine then in the constructors. And just waiting for that rest from race control as Alvar, the last car, to close in. There it is, safety car in this lap. Two laps to decide this Grand Prix. Is Imri really hanging back there? But come back up to play. So Obsessed leads. 2 laps to finish it. Safety car onto pit road. Oh, it's still on the circuit. Here we go. Back to racing once again. Green flag back out. Is safety car's still on the circuit thing for everyone here? What's happened? That's not a my game thing. That's an F1 thing, I think. Safety car's still on the circuit. Obsessed is pulling away here. He's 8 tenths in front. There goes Grumio to the outside of Imri, going down towards turn 5. These two fighting for the race victory here. Ethan is sat behind the safety car for some reason, but continuing on. Dan making move on Imri now. And I think Obsessed, we fine, we're just coming to the flag in front. Yellow flags across the circuit. There it is, green. Back to racing again. So that was a game glitch there, very odd. But the safety car is still going around. I think the safety car is still going around the circuit. And Grumio now is on Obsessed's tail. Reminder, Grumio is winning this race right now as it stands, but I think driving most gutted is Cox. He's down to P5 now. Grumio making his move then to the outside of Obsessed. Obsessed nipping in front. They're still side by side on the run down towards the corner. Side by side. Grumio gets through. And now Dan needs to get around Obsessed too before Grumio pulls away. Yellow flag, all clear. Last lap in Vegas. Grumio leads them. DRS deployed for the last time in this race. JB penalty. Yellow flag for Ethan. I think it's really struggling here. Oh, Ethan's got damage. Well, I'll explain it. Dan then, I think, may have run out of time. I think this Grand Prix might be Grumio's. Big pack of cars here on the run down towards... Where's Imri? Imri's down the order here. No damage done to that car, but he's down to P10. Oh, and more damage for the Sauber as well. PJ losing an end plate, but he's going to carry on trying to finish the race and score points. Grumio now second in front of Obsessed, and that might just cover the matter. Well, he was fighting Cott for the victory. And there is the safety car. And we're going to have to move around it here. Oh, Cott! Cott took a big hit there. And now falling away. What is going on? The safety car makes a dramatic last second appearance as Dan Obsessed goes 3 wide with AT into the last corners. Dan wins out, AT second in that train. Obsessed still side by side with him. Grumio, though, is up front and navigating that chaos on the last lap, running towards the line. I think I'm a bit behind, truthfully, but Grumio comes to the flag and wins in Vegas. What on earth happening on the end results? I've got no idea. I mean, we know Lando didn't win the race. That was obviously Grumio's. Couldn't tell you what just happened on my screen there. perhaps the most confusing end to a Grand Prix I've ever seen. The whole thing really falling apart there. But there we go. Grumio wins it from Dan in second, and I think AT in third. Let's get someone to confirm the overall results for us. A very, very odd end to this race. Very confusing. What on earth is that? So very confusing end, at least on my screen, to that Grand Prix. And that will more or less do us. I'm being told Red J scored points. Fantastic if he did. I'm sorry, I'm very confused as to what's going on here. Because that whole 2 laps played out as if Grumio was in the lead, but these may actually be the correct results to this Grand Prix. I am very, very confused. If those are the final results, I have no words. And everything just fell apart for me on the stream in the closing laps. So I mean, I've got a screenshot of it on my screen. Okay, so my last 2 laps played out very differently to everybody else's. I'm going to head into the commentary box and just try and make some sense of what's exactly gone down. Because I've got the results on my screen, Red J. Good to see you in here, mate. You're going to hate me for this, but whatever just happened on my screen, I've got no clue because the whole thing lagged out completely. But I have got the official results here, at least in terms of what the game's given me. And you did indeed finish in 10th place. That's a point on the board for you. Congratulations.
Absolutely ridiculous race. What a crazy end to it. Really, really fun race from start to finish to be involved in. And as soon as Curtis went out, I feel like in the end, I just knew that everyone was going to put it on the line because instantly I think there was 18 drivers left. Every single one of them, especially at a track like Vegas, knows that they've got a chance of, a really good push or maybe even the podium. Absolutely crazy. I think there's a few incidents. Well, there's more than a few incidents. There's a lot for the stewards to look into. I'm a little bit iffy on some of them as well from myself as to whether there'll be any post-race pens potentially coming my way, but hopefully not. And who knows what might happen as well. If other drivers getting penalties, whether we can move further up the field. But my main takeaway was I knew when the safety car came out and I saw Obsessed, I think he was running P4 or maybe even P3 at the time, and he went round in the hard tyres along with Imrie, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, is Obsessed not only going to potentially get a podium but potentially win the race? I'll have to watch back the race replay later, and I think he finished 8th in the end, which is still a really good effort considering he was on really hard tyres. But absolutely crazy race. A lot of chaotic driving, a lot of quite poor driving, but I think everyone was just kind of desperate to get into the points, myself included. So we'll see what happens. We'll see whether I retain that P10. I'm hoping it's not going to be another China situation, but yeah, I mean, Vegas, just phenomenal. Just really, really fun to be a part of.
I wish I'd seen it properly, to be fair, but I'm told the ending with the end of the race was quite messy there. But I mean, in terms of what you saw, was there anything in particular you caught? Because I didn't catch any of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think probably my main takeaway, I mean, there might have even been stuff potentially towards the front. I know a lot of the midfield drivers. I think where the main stewarding reviewing is going to come from will be at the end of the will be at the end of the back straight, where everyone's just DRS training each other, and it was on the, I think it might have been the start of the towards the end of the penultimate lap, and I think there was McLarens, there was GB, maybe even both Saubers involved, Cottony, and I saw a gap and I just went for it, and then I was kind of scraping wheels with with JB, and then we were kind of just dragging each other towards the line, and then I got some quite bad wing damage that I thought was going to really mess me up. I went really, really deep into the first corner at the start of the final lap, and JB and Cottony overtook me. But yeah, I can't even remember what happened from there on. I think both of them kind of went a few seconds ahead, but they might have had penalties. So, it depends over the likes of, some penalties for some drivers that they got, 3-second time penalties, whether they might be removed as well. But yeah, I think that main incidence will be towards, will be on that penultimate lap through that little mini chicane at the end of the DRS. I think there was a lot of, people kind of putting themselves, on the line, just trying to, I don't know, maybe not braking properly for the chicane. But I mean, sometimes I think, that's what makes this league at times really, really fun. Yes, it's not great for the stewards to review a lot of that, but in terms of the actual driving itself, it's absolutely fun. And yeah, some people, miss out, and some other people, with the case like me, can pick up a points finish. So it'd be great if I can keep that there. It'd be great if we can both keep a point score and finish as well. A double point score would be really, really good. But we'll see what comes in the next 24 hours.
We'll have to wait and see. I'd say definitely try and enjoy the points finish where you can. I mean, to be fair, unless you did something wrong in those last few laps, I didn't see anything particular over the course of the Grand Prix. Listen, what I got that you did wrong, so I shouldn't imagine there should be anything taken away from you. If anything, I'd say points go up rather than down in this case. But obviously, 3 rounds to go. Qatar next time out. Do you think with that point on the board you can breathe a bit easier now these last few rounds?
If I can retain that point, then yes, absolutely. I did hit Cottony at one point through the race, but I gave the position back to him. So whether any time penalty is given for causing a collision, potentially so, we'll have to see. I have recorded it just in case. If Cottony puts in a I don't know, a review for it. But Qatar will be interesting. Decent track. I won't be at Abu Dhabi. I'm at Imola actually for that, which is crazy. So really looking forward to that, and then I'll be back for the final race, which is Brazil. So it'll be just to see where I'll start. I'm good for that one. That'll be a really, really great. So yeah, so 2 races left for me this season. Looking forward to both of them. And I think, definitely, as you said, if I am able to keep some point scoring finish from this race, then absolutely I can breathe a little bit easier. But we'll just see. I'm not going to get carried away too much. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy it because as it stands, I've got a point, so I'm going to enjoy it whilst I can. But there might be some spicy things going on in the chat. I'll have to have a look.
Yeah, I'll have to get my end of things as well in terms of what went down on my end. But obviously, good job in the end. Do you know what? I'm gutted that I didn't catch you actually coming across the line and getting that point, because I've been waiting for that all season long. So I'm hoping you get a chance to bag another one in the 2 races you've got left in the season. But thank you for coming along with us. I think it's just you tonight. So we'll have to try and make sense of the rest of this mess. But obviously, good job all day, and happy to see you back in the points again.
Thank you. Time to go and hit the slots.
Sounds good. I shall join you in about 10 minutes. Okay, right. So that one didn't more or less do it for us with coverage of the Racers Driving League. Apologies, things weren't perhaps up to par tonight. I'm not quite sure what happened in the last 2 laps or on the stream as a whole. So we'll figure that out and have that fixed for next week. Thank you guys for watching regardless. Hope you did enjoy it. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more future RDL content as we near the last few races. Next race being on the 12th of May at the Qatar Grand Prix, then Abu Dhabi on the 19th, and Brazil, the reverse grid finale on the 26th. Until next time, I've been your host, Zach RC. Have a fantastic evening, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.